Okay. This interview is with World War II veteran, U.S. Army David Wachs, who presently lives in Bala Cynwyd and is doing us the honor and favor of giving us an interview about his experience. Correct, sir?
Right.
Okay, so do you mind if I start with questions a little bit? We'll just go quickly through them.
Yeah, sure.
You've already answered most of them, but where did you grow up when you were a child, as a child?
Where did I go? What?
Grow up.
I grew up in West Philadelphia.
Okay, I think that's there, right, sir?
Yes.
All right.
718 South 58th Street.
Okay. Where did you go to elementary school?
Harrity.
What was it called?
Harrity.
Harrity, okay. And where did you go to high school?
Shaw Junior High School.
All right. Where is that?
Oh, it's out. I forgot where.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, okay. And then you went to college?
Yeah, I was starting at Penn at 16.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Smart guy, huh?
Wharton.
Ooh.
And I joined.
Wharton. Okay. All right. So let's pause there for a minute. So what happened when you were 16?
Well, for one thing, my father, may he rest in peace, was telling me what was happening to our family in the Ukraine.
Oh God.
So I said, well, I'm going to have to do something about that. I'm only 16, I'm going to enlist. My mother said, no, you're not. I'm not signing for you. Thing could be over in a couple of years before you get here. I said, I'm going now, Mom. And my dad signed for me.
Oh my goodness. How did your mother feel?
She was unhappy.
I guess so. I would have been unhappy, but I do understand why. So for the greater good, correct?
I was 16, and another chance for the Army, because later on I was very active in politics with President Bush, President Reagan particularly.
Right.
And I got a couple of awards, I can show them to you.
Lovely.
But they told me, the Army, they're going to send me to the Command and General Staff schools. Oh, I said, that's great. But they didn't.
Okay, what happened?
What happened? I got off after I told people when I first enlisted, I was in Indian Town Gap, and I told them, oh, I'm going to go to such and such a place. So when the train went out, they took 10 cars off in St. Louis, went south, and then they took another 10 off in Kansas City, and they went off, and only one car left. I figured, but these guys don't look that smart.
And what happened then?
I thought I was going someplace. I ended up in Fort Riley, Kansas. And then I saw this is not what I thought it was going to be, but
Okay.
I got to make the best I can. And I asked the guy, and then I heard a huge howl. They were moving horses from one section to the next. Oh, I gotta take care of this, get the hell out of the horse cavalry. So I tried to talk to the sergeant that had us, but he said, get back in line. So when I got up to the M to the Z guy, that's the initials, M to Z, I said, Private Wachs, 1320204, and I know all about tanks, cars. We have a car at home, and I know they can. We didn't have a car at home, but I thought it might help.
Right.
He said, get in line. So I got in line to the M to Z guy. M for your initial to Z.
Gotcha.
And I tried to talk to him, and he wasn't interested. I ended up in the horse cavalry. For a city boy that never rode horses, I ended up in the horse cavalry.
So how did you feel about that? Did you enjoy the horses once you
I
got
felt very
to...
bad about it originally, because the hell I can't even know about it. Guy said, go get a halter shack. I was running around looking for a halter shack. I don't know what the hell that was. But the kids from the South, they knew about horses.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had ROTC at Penn,
Right.
I became an acting sergeant. And I had to learn how to ride a horse, which I got to learn pretty good.
Sounds like you did okay.
How much what?
It sounds like you did okay.
Yeah, I did okay.
So your father was for you joining, your father was happy you joined the Army,
Oh, yeah.
and your mother not so happy.
My father came out for my last furlough another time. We were told that we were going to invade an island someplace
Oh my.
off the Philippines or something.
Oh.
And,
So in the South Pacific somewhere?
yeah, that's
Okay.
what they told us. I had nothing to do with anything. They tell me what was going on.
Of course.
And Captain Barnes says, Sergeant, we lose a lot of people just getting on the island, but don't accept any promises of surrender. These guys surrender, but they don't. And then they kill you when you...
Right.
So, my father came out before I went out there to tell me I had this furlough before this was going to happen. St. Louis. Came out to St. Louis. I took him about 20 hours. I had to go up to Chicago down to St. Louis in those days. And I went from Kansas City. I went from Fort Riley to Kansas City and then to St. Louis. And I watched a baseball game. Eldon Walker was pitching.
How about
The
that?
Phils and the St. Louis Browns. Anyhow,
So that was, so as your MOS, you were cavalry and you were a sergeant?
yeah.
Okay. And what was what was your group or your division?
Oh, wait, what?
The division, or you have a battalion or
No.
a tank armored division, would it have been called? Do you recall?
They were just, I forget, we were in something, and I had some problems.
So your daughter told me a little bit. Why don't you elaborate about what happened, if you don't mind?
What happened was, I was Jewish, and the only Jew in the island. I had about 100 guys, and I was sergeant. And I went to the bathroom. I left my
Take your
my
time.
rifle on my footlocker because I was going to clean it.
Okay.
And when I came back, the guy in the upstairs bunk, Getty I think his name was, said he's not going to take any orders for a motherfucking Jew bastard.
Oh my.
But I hit him with my barrel. I really hurt him terribly.
Good.
I'd say
So
you
they
deserved
said-
it.
We're going to court-martial you. I said, get me a rabbi. Couldn't get me a rabbi. Didn't have one. So they got me a priest.
Okay.
And the priest got me company punishment.
Better than getting kicked out.
Oh, yeah. The other guy, he never got over it. He
Yeah, well,
Left the army.
I'd say he had it coming, but
And so
some
But I
people
was-
won't change. So,
all sorts of lucky things happened to me in the army.
well, that's a good thing, wouldn't you say?
What?
That's a good thing, wouldn't you say?
I had nothing to do with it. It was always
So your first duty station was it training in St. Louis?
What?
Your first duty station or your first assignment? What does he call it?
That's right.
Fort Riley.
Was at Fort Riley in Kansas, correct? And how long was that?
I was there until we had that last furlough.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna invade
Right.
this island.
Right. So that was Japan, correct?
And
Is that correct?
we're waiting for. I told you about Barnes,
Yes.
Captain Barnes.
But what happened
And
after
then what
your
happened,
furlough? I'm
They
sorry.
dropped a bomb. And
So they
walked
dropped on Nagasaki.
on Nagasaki. Then they dropped another one. They said, "Sit here. Nothing. You're not going anywhere."
So as my adjutant stated,
that's all luck, and nothing to do with me. Nothing in the army did.
but it's estimated, if I understood you right, that 1 million men would have died if they had not dropped that bomb. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's.
So it's unfortunate, but at least you're here and you're able to tell the story and tell us about this. So where were you when you talk about the three tanks, and you were in the middle and the one was on either side? Where was that? Where was that? Was that in Fort Riley?
Yeah, the Commander General Staff School. That wasn't in
Okay.
Fort Riley. And when one day after the war, I was active in politics, and Romney was running for vice president. So
Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gave a speech. He asked me to come. And then after my speech, or after his speech,
Mm-hmm.
he came over and said to me, "You're the only World War II
Veteran.
He said, "But my two uncles were at Fort Riley, and both of them were killed at the Battle of Bastogne. One was
Oh.
killed right away,
Oh my.
and one was wounded and then died.
Hmm.
How come you didn't?" I said, "And you were in the Army before they were." I said, "I was in the Horse Scout."
It's interesting, isn't
and
it?
what happened is, you did basic training and I tried to get into the tanks. It was 17 weeks, and then they sent you overseas.
Right.
But the Horse Cavalry didn't go overseas right away. They're looking for people, for places to send you. All luck. All luck.
So you say you were, so what was your total amount of years that you spent in the service?
A little over 2 years.
Okay. And when you came back, did you already have children? Did you have children after you had?
Yeah.
You got married when you came back?
Oh, I was a bum.
You were bummed, but were you politically active at that point or no?
I went to, when I got back,
Yes.
I started back at school,
Okay.
What school?
and
You went back to Penn? Okay.
and then the first summer
Uh-huh.
when I'm back, I went with a friend. I forgot his name at the minute. And he said, he was from Florida. He said, "Let's go to Cuba, Veradero Beach, and we'll work on the beach. Plenty of gals." And so
How did
I
you
went.
like Cuba?
Well, it was near, he grew up in Florida.
But I mean, you went to Cuba then?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
Did I enjoy it? Are you kidding? All those gals and nothing, oh, terrific. So then I decided I'm going to write a book. So,
A Charmed Life, yes?
yeah, and so I went to Europe.
Where did you go in Europe?
I went with Buddy Hain, a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of guys learning to be writers. That's what I thought I wanted to be.
Well, I think you succeeded.
Yeah, it's in the book. But I found out the first thing you needed was money.
Of course.
Otherwise, no one wanted to talk to you.
What, to be a
Too
writer?
often. So I would go downstairs, said to Buddy, give me a couple bucks. And we changed the bucks, I changed the bucks for francs on the black market. And then I was very popular.
You're a character, you
All
are.
the gals you could want. And then one day I woke up and I said, you know what, if I keep doing this, I'll be a bum. I'm not a good writer. So I went home.
I'd say I probably disagree, although I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, it's in there. And then I found out that women were smarter than men.
It's a good thing you found that out, huh?
Oh yeah,
Me too.
they were much smarter.
Um,
And I opened a store, because that's what the family knew something about. I opened one up with a guy, Bob Johnson. And
what kind of store was it?
women's clothing.
Oh, that's right. He did tell me. Where was this?
Where is it? In West Philly?
West Philly. What was it
In
called?
Norristown.
Oh,
Called Charming Shops.
oh my God!
Charming.
Really? That you're the one that started that?
Yeah. And the thing
Even
that,
I, in my younger days, I know I don't look as old as I am. Wink, wink. But I have gone to charming shops when they were still.
well, what happened is I knew from experience women were smarter than men. So I gave women charge accounts. The only one, women didn't get the vote till 1926.
Correct.
And my Jewish lawyer, he said, you'll go broke. They wouldn't pay. I got rid of the lawyer. And they did pay.
There you go.
And so therefore I was able to build a Fortune 500 company.
That's beautiful. That's a wonderful thing. What a neat thing to be able to. You've really had quite a life, Mr. Wachs. Yes.
Luck.
Well, luck or not,
Look,
you've
people
been
didn't
pretty
realize
fortunate.
how smart women were. They were stupid.
Well, you're saying women, but you're the one that succeeded. Was there a particular woman behind the scenes? Who was that woman?
They're smart. And if you don't know it, you have to.
I do know it, but I appreciate that you're saying it. And so
But
do
they
they.
were always quiet about it. They didn't want to upset people.
You know, my uncle had a saying. He used to say, woman means woe to man. My uncle was at Pearl Harbor,
Oh, well.
but he was on the wrong end of the island. And to the day he died, he said he didn't want any parts. Everybody wanted him to go on the rides, and he just, he had a lot of survivor guilt. So
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't like
tough.
to go tell them because
No, I understand that.
everybody else is gone.
But the way we view it is that you served, period. And any one of us, it's fate. Any one of us could have been in
Yeah.
that situation,
It's
correct?
lucky.
Yes, absolutely.
All luck. And this is a great country, and I really felt strongly about it.
I'm gonna get it. You are right. This is a great country, and I'm glad to hear you say it. I didn't think you would say anything else, quite frankly. Commander Westman told us that you have a grandson that volunteered to go to Israel. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just spoke to him.
And he's in the Israeli army?
Yeah.
Is it
He just
okay to
called
talk
me.
about that here?
What?
We're not putting him in danger or jeopardy, are we?
You're not putting him in danger because you can't talk to him unless he wants you. He
Okay.
calls me.
I just wanted to make sure I'm not saying anything I shouldn't. Okay. So what does he do? Is that an appropriate question? What does he do in the military? Is that his son there? Can I see it? Good-looking young man.
Yeah, that's him.
What is his name?
Adam.
Good name.
Hold it a little closer to him. That's good.
Here.
Here's a picture of him in the army.
Oh, there he is there. How old is he?
Oh, he's in his 20s.
Okay. Very good-looking boy. Young man. I can't say boy, can I? So if he's in his 20s, okay, well, good for him. So he's...
I got another daughter over there, granddaughter. Her husband's in the army, but not active at the moment.
Okay.
But he is single, and he was always in the army. And
Sounds like someone we know.
Yeah. I said, what are you doing? He says, what are you talking about, Gramps? You joined. I joined too.
So he enjoys what he does. Do you know what he does within the Army?
Yeah, he's...
Without giving a whole lot away, he's not in the cavalry?
No, he's in...
Well,
moment
Israeli
right
don't
now-
have a cavalry, do they?
Right now, he's up north
Okay,
fighting in a Lebanon border.
okay. Got it.
That's what he's doing.
All right. And I understand you helped some family members get out of Israel and get out of the harm's way,
Yeah,
basically.
we did get a granddaughter out. She goes to Jewish day school, and Shapiro, the governor, got the whole class out. He sent a couple airplanes over and took them out, 40 or 50 kids.
Oh, that's
Only one
wonderful.
airplane.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. It's a really sad situation there right now. It's unfortunate that they feel like it seems, from what I've heard, the coverage that they
Look,
have to even deal with it. You know.
When someone hits you, you better hit them back, otherwise you're over. It's going to be a very bad place for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're telling them, leave them alone, go back.
Well, obviously there's two sides, right?
Naomi,
Yes, sir.
stick to the program, please.
Which program?
Stick to the question.
So I've got this now. What do you feel, so this is my next question, if you don't mind. From being in the military, do you feel, what was the biggest influence that you feel you gained from having served in the military?
The biggest feeling then I went into politics was what a great country this is, and everybody who lives here has a responsibility to do the best they can for this country. And that's the best they could do when I was a kid, was join the Army.
And you did that.
And if
you
I
did it
wasn't
at
so old, I
16.
would join now if they had a...
Hoorah. Hoorah. I
Ended
have,
up as a sharpshooter. I was very good.
excellent.
Tank commander.
That's brilliant.
I was so proud of this country and so happy that I was allowed the privilege of serving it. I didn't think it was a duty. I thought it was a privilege.
I would agree.
And I feel that way now.
I would agree, and I think most people that are, that stayed with it or served feel that way. If there was one thing that you could tell the younger generation that you think maybe they don't have a handle on, what would you say to them?
I would always tell them what a fortunate they are to live here.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't take that. You owe back. And you should do anything you can
Right.
to make this country greater. Don't screw around.
Right.
Help them. And I still feel that way.
Right.
I love this country. And I know of 180 guys or so in this outfit. There are not many left.
I know.
Maybe me, I know.
Well, we're grateful to be here with you today and to talk
And I
with
think
you.
that everybody that lives here owes something. It's a privilege.
So what do you think about women serving in the military? You know that's coming up on, I just wanted to throw this
I
in
think
here.
women should serve anywhere they want.
I
They're
agree.
smart, and it took them a long time to figure out how smart they are. But they're smarter than the men.
I'm just gonna sit this here. I just wanted to ask one more thing. If you wouldn't mind, could you hold that up?
What,
And just talk a little bit about this too. Do you
about
mind?
this book?
Yes.
I'll give you one.
Oh, I would appreciate it, but I want you just a brief summary.
Well, I woke up one day and I said to myself, look how lucky I am. I think I'll write about it. So I wrote this thing about the book, about my life. Got one for you and one for him. I mean, for her.
Thank you. Thank you.
Does Warren have one?
Got a pen all.
Does Warren have one?
Yeah, sure he can.
So this is me. This is me. And this, I'm Naomi.
Okay,
What's
Naomi
your
will
name?
have them. Naomi?
Yes, sir.
Mary?
Let's have them sign the book after this.
Sign after. Hold on, let's do it in a minute. If you don't mind, we're gonna wait. I just wanted to maybe wrap this up. I have a couple things. Do you mind if I give them these things? So, in honor of your service, this is a World War II memorial pin,
Oh, thank you.
okay? This is the flag for all those who sacrificed their lives.
Oh, thank you.
And this is a U.S. Army pin.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we wanted you to have those with our compliments from American Legion, Post 355. I'm Vice Commander now. You know Warren is Commander, Warren Westman. I'm Vice Commander Naomi Mastrocola, and Adjutant Richard Trevane is filming. But I wanted to thank you so much for really having us here to do this.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
our pleasure, and we're so grateful because this is so important to keep history in everybody's mind and at the forefront of why we do what we do and why we fight to keep our country free. So, thank
Well,
you,
I
sir.
want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing women up, which is what I always wanted.
Aw.
They're terrific.
Naomi, I'd like you to stand up, take off your mask, and go behind him so I can get you in the
All right.
video.
Thank you. Excuse me. Is that okay with you? I'm going to take it off, but I won't breathe on you. Keep your mask off. I'm just going to stay here.
Keep it all?
Do you mind? Right here.
No.
Okay.
Can you get a shot too with? No.
Okay. So, Naomi, tell us about your role in the American Legion and how we wound up coming here.
So, Warren Westman, who's our current commander, has been talking to Mr. David Wachs. Not to mention, Mr. Wachs has donated quite a bit of money to our post, and we are very grateful for that. Thank you, sir, again. Not only has he donated once, he's donated more than once, I think 3 times now. And we're very grateful because it helps keep our mission alive and helps to help other veterans that might be in need and to just continue this message of why we serve. My role, I was originally an adjutant. My father-in-law got me in to the American Legion, said, hey, you want to come to a meeting? Ended up at a meeting, ended up as an adjutant a few years later, and then was voted in as commander, and I've been commander for 5 years until Warren stepped up. And that, sir, is about it.
Okay, stay there so I can get next to you.
Yes, sir. And then we're going to introduce Richard Trevane, who is our adjutant, and you can tell us
No, stay
something.
there. I'll bring you down close like this.
All right.
Okay. So it was my pleasure to meet you, David.
It's a pleasure to meet you guys.
It is my pleasure to record you for your legacy video that all your family members will have a copy of sometime down the road, and their children and their grandchildren
Awesome.
and great-grandchildren. This will live forever.
There you go.
Great time investment. It was nice to meet your family today. And with that, I'll say thank you for watching.
I do. Thank you, sir. Let me put my mask back on here.